this is Rosa Kelly. Welcome back to my channel and to Summerween. Wink is a week-long readathon where we read scary books, horror books in the summer, and it's just so much fun. The song has 5 different prompts and you don't have to fulfill them all, but it's also really fun to kind of follow the prompts. So the first prompt is to read a book in the dark or at night. The second one is to read a thriller. Then the third one is to read a book set in the fall. Next one is to read a book with orange or black on the cover. And the last prompt is to read either a manga, a graphic novel, or a novella. So today is day 1 of Summerween, but I did start already with The Only One Left by Riley Sager. I did talk about this book a little bit on the previous video, so I'm not gonna be talking a lot more about it, but I'm already almost halfway through this book, so I'm going to be continuing with this one throughout the week. What I'm going to do right now is actually get going with one of my audiobooks, and I'm excited about this one. This first book that I'm going to be listening to is You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight. This is by Colleen Byron, and this is only like a 6-hour long audiobook, so I think it's gonna be a nice read as I do some things here around my craft room. Hopefully we'll get to finish this one today, and then once I have a minute to sit down, I'll go back into this book. So I hope that you guys are joining the readathon. I hope that you're having fun, and even if you haven't started the readathon yet, just go ahead, pick up a scary book, and let's do some reading. Good morning. So today is Sunday. I wanted to give you a bit of an update on my reading. So yesterday we ended up going out and I didn't do quite a lot of reading, but I ended up finishing You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight, and I really like this book. So it's kind of like a summer camp slasher, and it was actually pretty good. So it was not set on the fall as I thought, but it's okay. I really enjoyed it. So on this book we're following this group of basically teenagers that work for this camp, and they kind of perform. And so people that go to this camp, they go for the experience of kind of living on a scary movie. So each one of the people that work on this camp kind of has like a position, like you'll be the killer, you'll be the last girl standing, and so on. As they go along, they discover an actual dead body. So one of the teenagers that work on the camp was actually killed, and they're trying to figure out what happened, and then it just goes pretty dark after that. Like, they start chasing these kids, and so they're trying to find out what happened, and it was actually really fast paced after that. There were a lot of different plot twists. They discovered what actually happened on this camp before and who is the people that is going after them. So really enjoyed that book, and I actually highly recommend it. It wasn't like a cheesy slasher. I usually don't like slasher type of horror, but this one was really good and not super graphic also. And then at nighttime I actually read The Garlic and the Vampire, and this book was so cute. So I actually read this in the dark before bed, so it probably fulfills the read in the dark book and also the read a graphic novella or graphic novel. I love the message behind this book of building courage and trying to figure out who you are and what you're capable of doing, and it was just really cute. I think this is actually a book that can be read on any age group. Yesterday we were out and about. We went to a concert one of my kids' friends performs. She's so beautiful. She sings like opera, and so we went to watch her, and then we did a little bit of downtown walking and shopping. I found a new Barnes and Noble that I've never been before, so I had to go in. I picked up these two books. So the first one is Stephen King's Pet Sematary. I mean, this is one of his most popular books, but I've never read this one particularly. I've read a few Stephen King, and so I'm excited that I found that one. And then I found Tender is Flesh. Now I know this is a pretty like a graphic book. It's kind of gross, so be aware if you want to read this one. On this book you're seeing a lot of cannibalism and actually like meat factories made with humans. It's kind of like a human meat factory. It's kind of like switching those roles of people eating meat, but instead of being like animal meat, it's human meat. And it's, I know it sounds so terrible and I know it's really bad, but I don't know, I was curious about it, and it's also a really short read, so I don't know if I'll be reading this book for this readathon, but I'll definitely try to read Pet Sematary because it also fulfills all of those like black or orange cover. This is all black, a little bit of red there, and I also found the audiobook as well, so I'll probably be doing some read along for that. Today we're going to be running some errands, and I actually found the audiobook for The Only Survivors by Megan Miranda, and yeah, so this is one that I am going to be starting today, another one of my thriller selections, and I am excited. And then of course I have The Only One Left by Riley Sager, so I haven't been able to do much progress, so today I want to sit down and probably get a good chunk of this book done as well. But yeah, so that is the update for right now. I'll let you know if I finish any books today, and I'll see you in a little bit.
Standing underneath the lights, look into each other's eyes. Tired snowflakes are coming down, collapse into water when they hit the ground. I hear the sound of empty streets, and yesterday has gone to sleep. So all that's left is you and me. I can promise you're the only thing I see.
Hey guys, so it is a Monday and I just wanted to give you a quick update. I was just doing some intros for some videos on my other channel, but it is pretty late today. I had to work super late, but the good thing is that I finished this book here. I had the audiobook going yesterday and most of the day today as well. To be quite honest, this book was okay. It wasn't it didn't fully grab my attention the entire time that I was listening to, and this is why I switched to physical reading, because sometimes it happens that the audiobook just doesn't do it, or you're not following along because you're doing other things. So I stopped the audiobook and I actually sat down and did some reading, so I got more into the story. But to be quite honest, I was just kind of dragging towards the end to see if the book was going to have something super revealing, because it seems a lot of the same thing happening, and it did have a plot twist that I really like. But yeah, it was kind of, yeah, it was okay for me. I guess I will give this book a 3.5. It felt more like a cozy mystery than a thriller. In this book, we're following Cassidy, and Cassidy goes back to her hometown after 10 years of being on a car accident with her classmates, her friends. And I think 10 years ago when this accident happened, not everybody survived, and the ones that did survive kind of had this pact that nobody was going to talk about it, and so she kind of distanced herself from the group. But when she came back 10 years after, she was kind of looking for answers. She wanted to fully know what actually happened in the accident, because there were some things that weren't kind of adding up in her head. And then towards the end, you're kind of learning what actually happened, and the ending was a little bit shocking, to be quite honest. So yeah, I did enjoy this book. I do recommend you read it, but again, it wasn't like the most thrilling type of book. Like, it wasn't like a page turner, like I need to know what is happening next, as the other one that I am reading. And so on the only one left, I am on page 215. So I didn't do much reading on this book. I am kind of looking for like a scary book right now, something that's gonna be fast, that is gonna grab my attention. And so I found a couple books to kind of listen to as I do some things here around the studio. And so the first one is The Butcher and the Wren, and this one is by Alina Urquhart. I will put it on the screen. Yesterday, as we were running errands, I went to Target, and guess what I found? I found the book that I finished reading, and although I listened to this on audiobook and I already finished it, I just liked it so much that I had to pick up the book off the cover, and now I can actually touch it. I'll probably reread this book, to be quite honest, because it was such a fast-paced book. I kind of wanna experience it again with physical book. So right now I'm just going to be working on some projects, listening to the other audiobook. Hey guys, so I wanted to give you a quick update on the readings. So today is Wednesday, and we're actually going on a little mini vacation today, and yeah, we're super excited. So I'm gonna be selecting a couple books to bring with me, but so these couple days have been pretty busy with work, as you can imagine, trying to get everything aligned for me to take a few days off. And I was able to listen to one full audiobook yesterday, which was actually really good, and this is Such Sharp Teeth by Rachel Harrison, and I highly recommend it if you like werewolf stories. So it's about this lady who goes to her hometown to visit her twin sister. One day she kind of got together with her, I think, high school friends, and on the way home she was attacked by this gigantic bear that she later discovered was a werewolf, and she starts going through all these changes. So on the book you're kind of seeing the process of her discovering that she's a werewolf and the changes in her body. It's just so fascinating. Also the contrast that you see with her and her twin sister, because her twin sister is pregnant, so she's kind of going through all these changes that she can't control, and also struggling a little bit with the whole pregnancy and being pregnant and knowing if she was ready or not. And then the sister who is becoming a werewolf is kind of also losing control of her body, and so you're kind of seeing the comparison a little bit. It's also a lot of background that you discover of them growing up and what they went through and just kind of rising from that, and I just really really enjoyed the book. So I am glad that I found that. I can't wait. I think I'm gonna read everything by Rachel Harrison at this point. Recently, last week, I read Bad Dolls, and this is kind of like a collection of like short story collection, and you have 4 different stories, and they're kind of like a horror, but they're not too bad, but also really, really enjoyable. So if you're looking for a quick read or a quick audiobook, I highly recommend that one as well. But yeah, so we're actually going out of town. We're about to head to the airport, and I wanted to pick a couple books to bring with me on the trip. We're gonna be gone for about a week, and this was a high contender. I didn't want to take this with me. I really wanted to finish the book before going because it's quite a large book to carry, but I don't think I can wait a week to know what happens. So it's definitely coming with me. I don't have the audiobook for this book, unfortunately. So yesterday I also started You Shouldn't Have Come Here by Geneva Rose, and I barely made it into a couple chapters, to be honest. So I think I'm going to hold off on this book until I get back, because this is a heavy book. So I definitely don't want to be carrying these on my purse or on my carry-on. It is, I don't know why it's so heavy. The other book that I'm currently reading right now is The Butcher and the Wren. So I talked about this book a little bit. So it is a fast audiobook. It's only like a 6 or 7 hour audiobook, but I was able to find the book at a Target also, and so I wanted to do some read along. So I'm only about 20% into this book, so I'll probably bring it with me as well. And then I wanted to pick one more from this selection here. So I have The Patient, which is like a really small, lightweight book to maybe even put it in my purse. Then there is The Flesh, which I don't know. I think this book is gonna put me on a no meat diet for a while after reading it, and since I'm going on vacation and I want to enjoy all kinds of good food, I might have to skip on this one for now. And then the last one that I'm thinking on bringing is Stalling Tongues, which is also not very heavy, and another scary book. That is the update. We're gonna be going on a trip. I'll probably be updating you a little bit along the way. Hey guys, so we are back home and I just wanted to wrap up the vlog. So it's been such a fun week reading thrillers and just kind of pushing myself and trying to read as many books as I possibly could this week. And so I wanted to do a little wrap up of all the books that I was able to read during Summerween. So the first book that I finished is Garlic and the Vampire by Brie Paulson, and this was just such a fun little read, and I love all the images on this graphic novel. This was also the book that I read in the dark. It was just really fun to kind of get us in a little bit of a happy spooky mood. Then I read You Are Not Supposed to Die Tonight by Kylie Byron, and this was again another fast read, super fun summer camp type of thriller, and I thought that this was gonna be my read a book set on the fall prom, but it wasn't because it was a summer camp. But it was also really fun and exciting to read, super fast paced, so I do highly recommend this book. Then I read two thrillers for the Read a Thriller prompt, and I was able to finish The Only One Left by Riley Sager on my trip, and I just really like this book. One of my favorite Riley Sager's book, up there after Home Before Dark and Lock Every Door. I think this one for me was a 4.5 stars, so I really enjoyed it and I do recommend it. And then I finished The Only Survivors by Megan Miranda, and this for me was a 3.5, and it was a bit slow for my taste for a thriller. Then I finished two books for the black and orange type of covers. So the first one is The Bachelor and the Wren, and I finished this also during my trip, and I did enjoy this book so much. So on this book we're following, and it's kind of like following a serial killer and the forensic analyst, and so she's kind of discovering all these clues that he's leaving on his victims to kind of find the next victim. And so she's trying to be ahead of him to be able to rescue these victims and find out who he was. And this was a really fast-paced book again, and I highly enjoyed it, so I do recommend this book. And the other black cover book that I read, oh, these are gonna fall. And the other book that I read with the black cover prompt is Such Sharp Teeth, and that is by Rachel Harris. So that one was more into like the werewolf conversion type of story, and I just really highly enjoyed that book. Super fast paced, and it does give you all those elements of being out in the woods, finding this werewolf, and also fighting yourself to, you know, discovering that you're becoming one. So I think I fulfill all the prompts on the Readathon, and I'm just so excited. I read 6 full books. Now I did start a couple books that I didn't quite finish, and the first one is You Shouldn't Have Come Here by Geneva Rose. This one I wasn't able to take with me on the trip because it was quite a heavy book, but I will definitely be continuing reading this book as well. The other one that I actually did take with me on the trip and I started reading is Stolen Tongues by Felix Blackwell. Now, on this book, we're following this couple who goes to this cabin. It was the girl's parents that own the cabin, and it's kind of like a vacation cabin on the middle of nowhere in the woods. And so on this cabin, there's different things that are happening. They're so scary and triggering, and so you're kind of following the two characters trying to get out of the cabin, trying to find contact, but that is just the beginning of the book. Also, the girl on this book, or the fiance, she has some history of like sleepwalking and kind of sleep talking a little bit, and so being on this cabin kind of triggers all of that. And then she's kind of saying some things on her sleep that the guy is just listening to, and he's getting pretty scared. And obviously I was getting so scared. There's this one thing that she said on her sleep about like the guy on the hallway, like tell this guy in the hallway to leave or something like that. And I was reading this book at nighttime on a hotel room and with a big long hallway right outside, and I got so scared, so I had to stop reading this book. I am on page 100, so now that I'm safe at home, I'll probably continue this book. I do highly recommend it. Like, it just put me on such a scary mode that I had to like watch Friends for 2 hours straight to be able to go to bed. And so I'll definitely be reading this, and I'm excited to finish this one, but I didn't quite get to finish it this week. And so yeah, so those are the books that I read for the Summerween Readathon, and it was just so much fun to kind of follow along everybody's videos posting about the Readathon. And I know this video is coming kind of late because we literally just got home yesterday, and I just wanted to do the closing for the vlog and update you on the books that I was able to finish. And so yeah, so I hope that you guys enjoy this readathon. I hope that you enjoy spending the week with us, and I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.